Are you tired of the 9 to 5 grind and dreaming of an early retirement? Maybe you want more time to travel, pursue passions, or just enjoy life without having to worry about clocking in or your next paycheck. That's why today we're going to break down the realities of early retirement, debunk some common myths, and give you actionable strategies to set you on the right path towards an early retirement. Imagine waking up on a Tuesday morning, the sun streaming in through your window, and instead of dreading your morning commute, you roll over and decide to make pancakes. That's the dream, right? Because you're thinking about retiring early, often it's not just about the money. It's about the courage to trust your plan. I mean, how many dream of the freedom but are held back by the fear of the unknown or the fear of the what ifs? So the idea of retiring before 60 or 65 might sound incredible, but it also might sound very overwhelming, right? There's so much financial advice out there, some of it conflicting, and it can be hard to separate the myths from the facts. The truth is that many people are so misinformed about what it really takes to retire early, especially in today's day and age. They assume that's only possible for the ultra wealthy, lottery winners, or investment gurus. But here's the thing, early retirement isn't just for the rich. It's for those who are willing to plan, make smart financial decisions, and stick to a strategy. Failing to properly retire early is like setting sail too soon. You've got a great boat, which is your savings, but unexpected storms, which are expenses and market downturns, hit harder because your supplies are less and your voyage or retirement is longer. While others who waited might be sailing smoothly, you're battling the elements and rationing resources, making the journey much tougher. So let's discuss how the landscape is changing for early retirement and what it's going to take to set sail and avoid major storms. Have you noticed that people seem to be retiring later nowadays? You might have noticed that fewer people are retiring earlier than 65 and, well, more people are working well into their 70s. So why is this happening? The first reason is out of financial necessity. Many people just haven't saved enough and simply can't afford to stop working. The second is rising expenses, such as healthcare, housing, and everyday expenses, and we've been seeing those significantly increase in the last few years alone. And the third is uncertainty around Social Security. Many are concerned that Social Security won't be enough, or it won't be there at all. And if you're curious about Social Security, I discussed the basics and several filing strategies in detail in a previous video, which I'll link at the top here. And the fourth is a longer life expectancy. Living longer is a blessing, but it does mean that you're going to need more money to sustain a comfortable retirement, sometimes for 30 to 40 years. Now, in the past, people could rely on pensions, but today, pensions are becoming less and less common, and retirement is becoming our own responsibility. 401ks and IRAs have replaced pensions, but those vehicles require active saving and investing on your behalf. So most businesses will no longer fund your dream retirement. So you're going to need a strategy that's going to work for you. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by these challenges, but here's the good news. With a good plan, early retirement is possible, but it's going to take some serious commitment and some sacrifice in the short term. Before we move on to how you can do that, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch today's video. If you're new to my channel, my name's Sean Stevenson. I'm a CFP professional and wealth associate at Confluence Financial Partners, where I've spent hundreds of hours reviewing and implementing financial plans and investment strategies, and I'm sharing all my knowledge with you. So if you're interested in seeing more of my videos on retirement planning and investing strategies, consider subscribing. And if you're within 5 years of retirement, click the link in the description and get a copy of our Retirement Readiness Workbook. It's a simple, actionable guide that'll walk you through what we believe are the essential steps to achieve a worry-free retirement, such as clarifying your retirement vision and lifestyle goals, assessing your savings and income sources, and help you plan for taxes, healthcare, and legacy needs. Now, let's move on to what it's going to take to retire early. The first thing is to recognize the power of your savings rate. Most people focus on how much they earn, but what really matters is how much you keep. Your savings rate, which is a percentage of your income that you save and invest, is the biggest driver of your chance at early retirement. Now, the traditional advice says save 15 to 20% of your income for retirement, but early retirees often find themselves needing to save 40 to 60% of their gross income. Now, the higher your savings rate, the fewer years you will need to work. For example, if you save 50% of your income, you might be able to retire in about 18 years. Compared to if you save 60% of your income, you may be able to retire in 12 years. Now, all this depends on your spending rate in retirement, of course, and the feasibility of you being able to actually save that much of your income. So let's take action. Calculate your current savings rate and see if it will support your early retirement goals. And if it won't, what percentage of your income do you need to start saving and investing to be able to hit your early retirement goal? Your second focus is on smart investing, making sure that your money is working for you, because saving alone isn't going to be enough. You will need to invest wisely to grow your money. A mix of stocks, bonds, and alternative assets can provide long long-term growth while managing risk. The average yearly return of the S&P 500 has been about 10.9% over the last 30 years, and adjusted for inflation, that's about 8.2%. But the key is to stay invested through good markets and bad markets. And I get sometimes that's easier said than done. Now, investing in low-cost index funds can be a simple and passive way to build wealth over time, especially if you're DIYing your investment management. Here's a tip. The sooner you start investing, the more compound interest will work in your favor, because time is your best friend when it comes to investing. And remember, the end game isn't the start of retirement, it's the end of retirement. So continuing to save and invest through your 50s and your 60s could still allow for several decades of compounding. And the third focus is to create passive income sources. Passive income is money that you're able to earn without actively working, and it could be a game changer for early retirement. I recognize this term, passive income, gets thrown around a lot on YouTube, and it's created this false idea that it takes no work to acquire and maintain several income sources. But as you probably know, this isn't the case. It takes a lot of hard work to build and grow wealth. And even though your money may make money while you're sleeping, it's rarely ever truly hands off. Now, with that disclaimer out of the way, a few ways that you might be able to generate passive income could be through rental properties. Real estate can provide steady cash flow if managed correctly, but don't be surprised that investing in real estate, and not just a REIT, takes a lot of hard work creating systems and building relationships between agents, contractors, appraisers, property managers, and much more. You could also look at equities and fixed income. Some stocks pay you just for owning them, such as dividend stocks, and the same with income-generating fixed income. Now, in my opinion, this is probably the most hands-off form of investing. And you also have side hustles and online businesses. Selling products, blogging, or consulting can be a great way to generate income that's on your own terms after you retire. And that's the key there. Now, I won't go into any more detail on this since there seems to be 10 million videos about side hustles on YouTube, so you can go check those out. So what's the goal here? It's really all about building enough passive income, hopefully to cover your living expenses, so you don't have to rely on a paycheck and you can retire when you want. That's really called financial independence, whether that's through real estate, stocks, bonds, your Social Security, pensions, or even part-time work that you enjoy. I'd encourage you to take action and identify at least one passive income stream that you could start working on and building today, whether that's building your investment accounts, such as your 401k or your Roth IRA, learning to invest in real estate, or starting a little side hobby that you enjoy that will help you increase your savings ability. Now, let's look at 3 challenges of early retirement. As you might imagine, retiring early will almost certainly require sacrifice and life changes, primarily in the short term. However, once you get to retirement, there will also be more adjustments. So let's discuss 3 potential adjustments you might encounter. Now, the first adjustment is living on a fixed income. Once you retire, you're no longer earning a paycheck. So you may need to be able to budget and manage your expenses carefully. But if you're able to save 40 to 60% of your income, this more than likely won't be an issue. You may also need to focus on a mindset shift. Switching from saving to spending out of your portfolio can be more difficult than most people think. Now, the second is managing healthcare costs. Medicare doesn't start until you turn age 65, so you may need a budget for private insurance, which can be much more expensive than Medicare. Healthcare costs can be one of the largest expenses in early retirement, and if you're not counting for the increased cost and the increased inflation rate of those costs, then you may be underscoring how much you truly need to retire comfortably. If you're more of a visual learner like I am, we have a really nice PDF diagram that can walk you through the decision of whether or not you should be looking into budgeting for other insurance like private insurance during early retirement. If this is something that you'd like to have, just shoot me an email and I'll send it right over to you. And now the third challenge is dealing with emotional adjustments. Because work gives you a sense of purpose, some struggle with the transition and find themselves feeling lost or lacking purpose. Now consider finding new ways to stay active, engaged, and fulfilled, such as joining new groups, having weekly plans with your friends, volunteering, or whatever else might pique your interest. Although this seems like the softer side of retirement, it can be just as important as planning for the financial side. I mean, imagine grinding and saving away for half your life only to get to what's supposed to be the beginning of a beautiful chapter and you're not enjoying it. So here's a tip for you. Try walking through the exercise of writing out your ideal day, month, and year in retirement. What are you going to do to stay active, stay busy, and feel fulfilled? Then ask yourself, is this schedule sustainable for potentially several decades? Now, that's enough talk about the challenges of early retirement. Let's talk about the rewards of early retirement. And the first is you're going to have more freedom to control your time and you don't have to report to anyone. The second is you can travel and start new hobbies and passion projects, and there's no waiting for the weekend or a single vacation in the summer hoping you have enough PTO. Third is you may experience less stress since you're leaving behind workplace politics, long commutes, or maybe even demanding bosses. And fourth is more time with your family and loved ones, since you won't be tied up in an office for 40 to 50 hours a week. I read an interesting article from John Wagner with AARP who said just 13% of today's workers plan to retire before the age of 60, according to an Employee Benefits Research Institute survey. And many of those who took the plunge, the reality of early retirement can turn out to be far different than what they thought. I found this interesting. It noted 3 surprises that retirees faced, which were healthcare being more expensive than they originally thought, the large impact of tapping into their nest egg a little bit too early, and spending more than they had thought throughout the first half of their retirement. I found that interesting because those are all aspects that we just covered in some way, shape, or form today. In my opinion, all 3 of these concerns and potential risks can be managed with a proper financial plan and an advisor who's already helped people retire and might know what to expect. Now, if you've been talking with your friends or family about retiring early, you may have received some unexpected pushback, like you're too young to retire, which is a common refrain. But early retirement isn't about skipping life, it's about reclaiming it. Concerns about boredom or losing purpose are valid also. Your career might define you, but early retirement offers you the chance to redefine yourself through passions and community contributions like we just talked about. It's really a shift from a job to finding your purpose. Or maybe you've heard that you'll run out of money if you retire too early, which is another major and invalid fear because market crashes and medical bills are possible. But with proper planning, you can address these risks so that it's not just reckless optimism, it's careful planning. You can explore flexible withdrawal strategies, healthcare plans, and adaptable budgets paired with strategic savings and a diversified investment portfolio that can make your early retirement very attainable. Or some might say it's too risky. But here's the thing, all financial decisions carry risk. Staying in a job that you dislike has its own risks: burnout, missed opportunities, and regret. Early retirement is about managing risk, not just avoiding it. And it's true, a solid financial foundation is necessary, of course, but retiring early is not exclusively for multimillionaires. Disciplined savings, smart investing, and a frugal lifestyle can make it possible for many. And I have to say, others believe retirement is a constant vacation. And while more free time is a perk, early retirement is about designing a fulfilling life, which might include part-time work, volunteering, or starting a little side passion hobby. It should be a rewarding and fulfilling chapter of your life. I'm not sure if I hammered that home enough. So, can you really retire before the age of 65 or 60 for that matter? Yes, but it will take planning, discipline, and a willingness to control your financial future. If you're committed to retiring early, here's 4 next steps for you. The first, as we talked about, is to calculate your current savings rate and your needed savings rate to retire when you want to. And then ask yourself, is this possible? The second is to optimize your investment strategy, because like we said, it's not just about savings, it's also about investing. And the third is to build and preserve multiple income streams. And the fourth is to plan for healthcare and lifestyle changes during early retirement. Now, I hope this video was not too overwhelming, but at least eye-opening to the amount of work it really takes to successfully retire early. But the truth is, you don't have to do all this planning alone. If you're serious about retiring early and would like to discuss your current retirement strategy, feel free to schedule a complimentary retirement consultation call with me in the link in the description. Thank you for watching, and as always, great days ahead.